Hey everybody, Edo here, and as has become a tradition on the channel, each time Pencil-First Games does a new Kickstarter, and we have done many, I put out a new video outlining the things that we did differently on that campaign. Year over year, campaign over campaign, how are we adjusting and thinking about what we do in the hopes of providing some perspective to new Kickstarter creators, or even if you're also on your umpteenth campaign, maybe something is new or interesting or different. And so with that said, on February 6th, Tuesday, Pencil-First Games will be running the campaign for Sunrise at the Studio, Snowfall over Mountains, and Floriferous Pocket Edition. And so one of the things that is evident by going through that is this is another multi-campaign campaign. I've done this in the past. We did the 100 Tori expansion and Hanafuda campaign, and really to some degree the challenge is around, Pencil-First Games as an organization still certainly requires and needs to be working with Kickstarter. Crowdfunding is a big deal for the business, but at the same time, it's a lot to run a campaign, it's a lot of drawing attention, there's a lot of cost involved, and we continue to look for ways to smartly consolidate things like nature games into one to allow us to sort of have fewer overall Kickstarters per year, but still, meet the creativity we want to do with titles. And so before I go into that more, just in general, we are still working on Kickstarter. There are a bunch of other crowdfunding platforms you can use. Every once in a while, we have a conversation with one of them. We look at it and monitor it. And nothing's really that exciting. I think there are different opportunities. I think different platforms have different advantages. But for Pencil-First Games, with a product line and market that's pretty casual and driven from our existing base, it continues to make the most sense to just use and leverage Kickstarter. Also, because there are so many other things going on, and this is, for Pencil-First Games, is really like a hobby organization, a hobby business, like consistency, knowing how to do things, keeping it simple, just reduces the overhead and just new things to juggle and manage, and that's something that's important to me. Certainly it might be opportunistic for others to use those other platforms. Okay, but so back on the games. So it's a multi-campaign Kickstarter, and I talked about this at length on the last what we did differently for, well, not for the Siblings Trouble, but the one before that for Tori, which was about how we led with each campaign and each product in its own section, and then we started merging the three. It worked out really well for that previous campaign, so we're doing it again. So that's just the segmenting and ordering. We spent a lot of time thinking about that. This is another campaign that has an interesting mix of products. So Sunrise at the Studio is in our nature line, in our small box series, Floriferous Herbaceous Sunset Over Water in particular. And this is expected and planned to go to retail if everything goes well. However, the other two games aren't. The other two games are Pencil-First Games direct only, so through the Kickstarter or pencilfirstgames.com. And we have Herbaceous Pocket Edition, Sunset of Water Pocket Edition. We did Hanafuda. So this is Floriferous Pocket Edition. And boy, this is an amazing, this one came out really well. And then this is Snowfall Over Mountains, and Snowfall Over Mountains is unique in that well, not unique, but it's a new original game that the story is I had some ideas. They weren't any good. Scott Caputo came in and came up with some good ideas for the idea of walking through the woods in Serenity and making a solo game. But this was all about, hey, can we just make a small pocket solo game that's really has a lot of replay and is rewarding and fits in the vibe of the nature lines. But so these games aren't going to be available at retail. They're only through our site or the Kickstarter. And it's been a nice combination for us. We are perhaps missing some opportunity with bringing these into different retail markets, but at the same time, it's really nice. We have, we sell them with solid margins on our website over time. They're not, for the pocket editions, they're not competing with Floriferous Floriferous Pocket won't compete with Floriferous, which still is a really good seller. So it's been a good thing, and I think it also helps the Kickstarter because, you know, it's not just one, you know, a base game that you can just get at retail. Each one comes with a mini expansion, but again, the two Pocket games, we've been pretty good. I mean, you can't get our Herbaceous Pocket Edition at a store, and so, you know, we'll continue to do that. Original Pocket game. Okay, so we were actually struggling with the naming with 3 games. We originally just had it like each game name, comma, game name, comma, game name, comma. It was really long. We ended up dropping it down to Nature Trio, Sunrise, Snowfall, and Floriferous, I think. And, you know, we're still tweaking it, but thinking about that header, thinking about the core graphic, thinking about the subtext, it does get harder when you have more titles, and it's just something to think about. You know, lots of people create their own websites and other ways of doing it. We just use the Kickstarter promotion page. I think that's a really preview page. I think that's a really nice way to do it. It's really nicely tracked. It's direct. Kickstarter notifies the person to come in and check it out. So we build up our audience that way. And then obviously we still have our newsletter. We're still doing social media, but we're not pushing it to some other side trying to capture emails as well. Other folks do that, but we've been pretty comfortable with what we've been doing. We are trying add-ons on this campaign. Most of the base pledges are going to be set up in there, so we still have like get one of each game, or you can get the pack together, that kind of bundle. But we then will let you like add another copy using add-ons, but in particular, Herbaceous Pocket Edition and Sunset Over Water Pocket Edition. So trying to work on that add-on and add that value. We do plan to use Jetbacker again. Interesting story. We were going to use Jetbacker on the Siblings Trouble, but that campaign was so small. I mean, it was a really small campaign. It just didn't make sense to go through all that. And ultimately, we decided to just ship and cover customs and a few, you know, for the handful of internationals and go from there. But this is a bigger campaign. We expect to have more add-ons afterwards and things like that. So we're going to do Jetbacker. One of the things that we're still on the fence about is like we definitely need to do Jetbacker for customs and VAT. But we're debating on whether or not we should charge shipping during that campaign or after. For what it's worth, I'm leaning towards doing it during, but still haven't decided. What else we got here? You know, I spoke with Launch Boom. I continue to get reached out by every marketing company that's trying to like show us how it's done. Timing didn't work, and I mean, people are doing interesting things. I think, you know, continue to consider those types of approaches, but so far I really haven't dove into any of them. I bit the bullet and signed up for those types of deals. And some of them are consulting fees, some of them are percentages, some of them are, you know, it's your budget. We just tell you where to spend it, you know, that kind of thing. Out there is an opportunity to really blow out a Pencil First Games Kickstarter, but I'm also okay with that not being the case so far. Ask me after this one. The page is pretty standard Pencil First. If you've seen our campaign pages, we really try to continue to hit the same beats, the same warm welcome feeling. I'm really happy with the type of content we've put together. I'll link the preview page in the description, so you're welcome to look at it. But if you've seen one Pencil First Games Kickstarter page, you've seen all of them. But it's sort of true. But I still think we do a good job. And I mean, I scroll through it and I'm like, this thing is great. So I'm pretty happy with it. We did end up adding a Why Back section in TST, the Siblings Trouble campaign. It was sort of like a late addition, and it worked out okay. And we thought about it, and so we've included it here. That's a section I had sort of not used in the past. What other things are? Oh, in terms of video content, we're putting a little bit more out there on video content just to make sure we have a range of platforms, whether it's streaming or video or written. We're going to go out of our way in all of those cases to highlight if it was a paid preview or whatever. There are still lots of creators out there who aren't paid right now, and it just sort of depends on their channel and their approach and things like that. So, you know, we try to have a nice diversity of types of content, you know, media, and a nice diversity of content creators who are, you know, looking at these games. It gets weird when you have 3 of them. So, like, sometimes some of them take all of them, they take one. We sort of have to figure that out. It's a lot more to show. Certainly, to our advantage. These are easy to learn, fast to play games, so it's not that crazy, and they're not that expensive to ship around. This was an interesting new one. So we often build out development on Tabletop Simulator. We have some of those available to just end users or players, but we will also sometimes use it for streaming and the like. But the whole kerfuffle with kelp happened, and so we've been thinking a lot about our usage of Tabletop Simulator. So right now, we do have a couple streamers who are going to use it sort of in that not public-facing way, so they'll have like limited access. But what we've done is we've watermarked all of the assets. Now, I don't think we're going to integrate it for the streaming, but after, if we decide to make that public, we've like put watermarking all over all the cards in ways that like are distracting, but hopefully clear. I'm not convinced it's the biggest problem. I don't know. We're not that big of Pencil-First games aren't that big, so it's hard to say. But there's enough happening right now that we're being cautious. And then we're still light on doing paid ads, like Facebook ads and other platforms. We we'll do our normal thing where we run some content and see how it does and maybe put some more money in, but it's never a big spend. So that's really it. I think this is a really nice showcase campaign with a lot of cool graphics and a lot of nice layout and materials put together. Oh, we're using the table of contents on Kickstarter that's been added, so we're trying to stay up to speed on the new latest stuff that Kickstarter keeps adding from a feature perspective, but overall, straightforward. Check out the page, see what you think. As always, I could have said this earlier, but I certainly appreciate, if you appreciate this content, I appreciate support on these campaigns. It really doesn't have to be like backing and buying the game unless you want it. But sharing or backing for $1, that kind of thing really does actually have an impact. And I can say that after a long time doing this. So, hope this video was helpful. Thanks. Bye. Hey everybody, Edo here, and thanks for watching Gaming with Edo. Reviews over here on this playlist, League and Insider videos over here on this one. Subscribe, share, all that good stuff. But most importantly, play some great games. Thanks.